"You're not half the man your brother is." The words were simple, but they changed everything. "You're not half the man your brother is." My father said it across the dinner table as if he were commenting on the weather. My mother kept eating, my brother stayed silent, and I sat there staring at the plate in front of me. For years I had tried to be the son my parents could be proud of. My name is Daniel. I was 29 years old, working 2 jobs and trying to build a stable life. My younger brother Ryan was 26. My parents had always treated him differently. Ryan was charming, confident, and always knew exactly what to say. I was quieter. I worked hard, rarely complained, and usually stayed in the background. Whenever Ryan needed something, my parents found a way to give it to him. When I needed something, I was told to figure it out. I had accepted it for years because I believed family meant sacrifice. Then 3 years earlier, my parents had told me they were struggling to keep their house. My father had lost part of his income, and my mother had accumulated medical bills. They were behind on their mortgage, and the bank had warned them that they could lose the house. I remember sitting in their living room while my mother cried. "We don't know what we're going to do," she whispered. I looked at them and said, "I'll help." I never told them how difficult it would be. I took extra shifts. I stopped taking vacations. I moved into a tiny apartment every month. I quietly transferred money toward their mortgage. At first it was a few $100s. Then it became almost half my salary. I did it for 3 years. Not once did I ask for praise. Not once did I remind them what I was doing. I thought they knew. Apparently they didn't. That night at dinner, my father continued. "Ryan understands what it means to be a man," he said. "He has confidence. He knows how to handle life. You're always hiding behind your work." I slowly put down my fork. Ryan looked uncomfortable, but he said nothing. I looked at my father. "Then maybe Ryan can take care of the mortgage." The table became completely silent. My father frowned. "What are you talking about?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. "For the last 3 years I've been paying it." My mother stopped breathing for a moment. "What?" "I've been sending the payments every month." My father stared at me. "That's impossible." "No," I said quietly, "it's completely possible." I opened my banking records and placed the phone on the table. My mother picked it up. Her eyes moved across the screen. Month after month, payment after payment, thousands of dollars. Her face slowly changed. "Danielle, I never told you because I didn't want anything in return." My father looked embarrassed for the first time, but instead of apologizing, he asked, "Why didn't you tell us?" I laughed bitterly, because I thought helping my family was enough. Ryan finally spoke. "So you're saying you saved the house?" "I'm saying I helped save it." My father leaned back. Then he said something I never expected. "Well, the house belongs to the family. You didn't buy it." I felt something inside me break. "I know. And Ryan has been living here and taking care of us." Dad continued. "He deserves credit too." I looked at Ryan. He looked away. That was when I understood. They weren't grateful. They were simply used to me giving. I stood up. "Keep the house." My mother immediately grabbed my arm. "Daniel, please." I gently pulled away. "Imdonna." I walked out that night with nothing but my phone, my wallet, and the clothes I was wearing. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a son. I felt like an ATM that had finally stopped working. The next morning, I opened a new bank account and stopped sending the mortgage payments. I rented a small apartment across town. For several weeks, nobody called. Then, one evening, my mother finally appeared at my door. She looked exhausted. "Your father wants to talk to you." "I'm not ready." She started crying. "He says the bank is asking questions." I stared at her. "What questions?" She hesitated. "About the payments." I already knew what was coming. They had assumed the money would continue. They had never planned for the person behind it to disappear. My mother whispered, "Please come home." I shook my head. "No, Mom, I spent 3 years trying to make that house a home. Now I need to build one for myself." She left without another word. For the first time, I began living only for myself. And I had no idea that my family was about to discover exactly how much they had taken for granted. 6 months passed. I changed completely. I worked hard, saved money, and stopped measuring my worth by my family's approval. I eventually bought a small condominium. It wasn't luxurious, but every payment was mine. Every piece of furniture was mine. Every quiet evening belonged to me. For the first time, I felt free. Then I received an invitation. My parents were hosting a family celebration. The invitation said it was to honor Ryan. According to the message, Ryan had worked hard to keep the family together and protect the house. I almost laughed. But I decided to go, not because I wanted revenge. I simply wanted closure. When I arrived, the house looked exactly the same. My mother hugged me tightly. My father barely looked at me. Ryan walked over wearing an expensive suit. "You came," he said. "Of course." He smiled. "I'm glad you finally realized family matters." I looked at him. I never forgot that. The evening continued. Relatives arrived. Everyone praised Ryan. My father stood up and raised his glass. To Ryan he announced, the son who stood beside us when things were difficult. Everyone clapped. I sat quietly. Then my father said the sentence that finally pushed me to speak. "Ryan sacrificed everything to keep this family from losing its home." I stood up. The room became silent. "I'm sorry," I said, "but that isn't true." My father's face hardened. "Daniel, sit down." "No." I took out my phone. "I don't want anything from this family. I don't want the house. I don't want recognition. But I won't sit here while everyone celebrates a lie." I connected my phone to the television. Then I showed them the payment records. 1 month, then another, then another. 3 years of mortgage payments. The room went silent. My aunt covered her mouth. My cousin whispered Ryan never paid. Ryan immediately stood up. "That's not fair." I looked at him. "I never said you did nothing, but you didn't save the house." My father stood frozen. My mother began crying. I continued. "I paid because I loved this family. I never asked for my name on the house. I never asked for applause. I only wanted respect." Nobody spoke. Then Ryan finally admitted the truth. "I thought Daniel wanted to help." I looked at him. "No, I wanted to help because I believed we were brothers." He lowered his head. My father walked toward me. "Son?" I raised my hand. "Please don't." His eyes filled with tears. I was wrong. Those 3 words were everything I had waited years to hear. But strangely, they no longer had the power they once would have had. I wasn't angry anymore. I was simply finished. "I forgive you," I said, "but forgiveness doesn't mean I have to return to the life that destroyed me." My mother hugged me. This time I let her. My father asked, "Is there anything we can do?" I looked around the room. Yes. Everyone waited. "Stop comparing your children." My father looked down. "Ryan isn't better than me. I'm not better than Ryan. We're different people." I turned toward my brother. "And you don't have to compete with me anymore." Ryan nodded. For the first time in years, there was no argument between us. Just silence. A month later, my parents sold the house. They moved into a smaller place they could afford. Ryan found a new job and started paying his own bills. And I continued building my life. We didn't suddenly become the perfect family. Some wounds don't disappear overnight. But things changed. My father stopped asking which son was better. My mother stopped treating me like the person who would always rescue everyone. And I stopped trying to earn love through sacrifice. Years later, I understood something important. Sometimes people don't realize your value because you keep giving them everything without asking them to see it. The moment you stop sacrificing yourself, they finally notice the empty space you used to fill. I didn't leave my family because I hated them. I left because I finally learned to respect myself. And when my father once told me I wasn't half the man my brother was, I believed him for a moment. But I eventually discovered the truth. I didn't need to be half the man my brother was. I only needed to become the best version of myself. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.